all those things. What is uniform motion? Okay, when the body is moving and still the velocity is not changing. Okay, its direction is not changing. Okay, suppose if I say it's accelerated motion, so I can say its speed also may change, or its direction may change, or both can happen simultaneously. Okay, so these are the accelerated motions we call. Okay, so we are now going to start with the force. Okay, so till now what we have studied was about the motion. Okay, now what causes motion is a force. What causes a motion is a force. Okay, everywhere the force will not be able to cause the motion, or everywhere the force will not be able to change the direction of the body. Okay, but wherever there is a motion, wherever there is a change in velocity, wherever there is an acceleration, okay, there is something that is acting behind it. Suppose right now you are moving with the velocity 10 kilometers per hour. Okay, suddenly you put a like accelerate your vehicle, and now you are moving with 30 kilometers per hour. So from 10 to 30, what is happening? Your speed is getting changed. And now if your speed is getting changed, so there is an acceleration. If there is an acceleration, so there has to be a force acting behind that. Okay, there must be an external agent that must be acting behind that. Okay, so that is what we are saying as a force. Okay, so my first question to all of you is that can you define what is force? Can you define what is force? Yes. Can you define what is force? Can you define what is force? Push or pull, a force is applied on an object to change its position. Okay, push or pull, push or pull. Everybody is saying push or pull. Okay. Everywhere I can see push or a pull. A push or a pull. SI unit of force is Newton. I didn't ask you the unit. Force is an external agent capable of changing the state of rest or motion of a particular body. Okay. A push or a pull of a body to make a change from its position. Okay, fine. I've got few answers. Okay. And most of them are like push or pull on an object. Okay. Few people have written it indirectly, like an external agent capable of changing the state of rest or motion of a particular body, like that. Okay. Change of motion of a object is called force. An external energy which changes the position of the object. Okay. Let us start. Let us start. Push or pull on an object is called as force. Okay. I don't say it is wrong. Okay. But now you have to change this definition a little bit. Okay, we have to do little modification in this. Okay, so now I'm going to write a definition of the force now. Okay, and then we will uh, see that what I have written over there. Okay, so now what I'm saying, that force is an external agent. Now suppose I'll take one example before that. So suppose if this is the block, suppose this is the block, okay, on which you are applying a force, okay. So there is a boy here who is applying a force on this. Now if I see this block, if I have to see this block, the force on this block, if I have to see the force on this block, so anything other than this box, any object other than this block will be treated as an external agent, external body. Understood? If my system is this ball, this block, okay, if my system is this block, so anything out of it, anything out of it in its surrounding will be treated as a external body or external agent. So the boy pushing this block of mass capital M will be treated as an external agent. Okay, it may be the source of the force, so no problem. But for that body, the boy is an external agent. Okay, so here I have explained you what is the external agent. So if you consider a book and you are picking up the book now, okay, so for book you are an external outfit. Okay, you are not a part of the book, you are not the part of the book. Similarly here, the boy is not the part of the block. Okay, the boy is not the part of the block. So for block, the boy is an external agent. For block, the boy is an external agent. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Okay, so now I'm writing the force. Okay, definition of the force basically. So what does this force means? So this force says force is an external agent. Okay, it is an external agent. External agent. Okay, which tries to, okay, which tries to change or changes, the state of body, okay, shape of body, okay, size of the body, okay, and position. It is an external agent which tries to change or changes the state of the body, shape of the body, size of the body, or position of the body. This is position, or actually I've written position. Okay, and position of the body. Okay, yeah, direction also I can put. Okay, direction, and many more things you can add. I have written few very common. Okay, we'll try to see with this now. Okay, we'll try to see with this. Now just see here, it is an external agent. So what is an external agent? I have explained you. What is an external agent? I have already explained you this thing. Okay, now I'm saying it tries to change or changes the state. Okay, we'll come to that part later. Okay, state of the body. State of the body means, suppose if it is rest, okay, or suppose if it is in uniform motion, so that is the state of the body I'm saying. Okay, if a body is in rest, so that's a state of the body. If body is moving with a uniform velocity, so it's a state of the motion. Okay, state of the body. Shape of the body means, suppose you have any circular, like a ball. Okay, you have a ball, rubber ball. Okay, or that any ball or any piece of paper. Okay, so that it is having a particular shape. Okay, now size means, suppose you have a stick and you can break it, so what you will do, you will change its size. You are decreasing its length. Okay, so that's the change in size. Position means, suppose a body is kept in the ground floor, and what you are doing, you are just taking this body and putting it on the top, or like on the table. Okay, suppose your pen is on ground, or on the floor. So what you are doing, from that floor you are picking up that pen and putting it on a table. So that's the position. You are changing the position of the object. Okay, then direction of the object. What's the direction of the object? Suppose in football, okay, suppose a ball is going, so a striker will change its direction. The striker changes its direction. Okay, like that. Now we are going to see what is this thing actually. which tries to change or changes the state. Okay, which tries to change or changes the state. Now let us understand what is that actually. Okay, now suppose here this boy, suppose this block is some 10 kg. Suppose this boy is pushing, okay, suppose this boy is pushing a 10 kg block. Okay, so this 10 kg block he'll be able to push. So what he is doing, he is actually changing the state of the body. That was, the body was at rest, now he's pushing it. So he was able to push that, and so that's a force. Whatever he is doing, that's a force. So he has changed the state of the body. Now suppose the same boy, okay, is trying to push a body, a huge body, okay, which is of some 10 tons or 1 ton, okay, 1,000 kg. He's trying to push 1,000 kg. Will he be able to push it? Will he be able to change the position or the state of the body? No. If this boy tries to push a wall, assume a wall, okay, assume a wall that he is pushing, or assume a very huge body, okay, like 1,000 kg. Will he be able to push that block? No, he will not be able to push that block. Okay, practically he will not be able to push the block. So can I say that he is not doing any force? Can I say it like that? That if he is trying to push the block, okay, or a wall, but he is not able to push it, okay, the wall is not moving, so will I say that he has not applied any kind of force over there? Yes. What you will say? He has applied a little amount of force or some amount of force, or he has not applied force at all? What will you say? Yes, what will you say? In this case, what are you going to say now? He has applied the force, okay, he has applied the force, okay, though he is not able to push it, but he is applying the force, okay. So that's why I have written which tries to change or changes. In the case of a small block, he was able to change, okay, in the case of a small block, okay, in the case of a small block he was able to change. But in the case of big object, if even if he is not able to push it, even if he is not able to push it, still you will say that he is applying a force. Okay, so that's why I have written it's an external agent which tries to change or changes the state. it he may try to change or he may change the state. Okay, if he is able to change, then also it is a force. If he is not able to change but still he's doing some effort, so that is also a force only. Understood? But the result of the effect of that force is zero. Effort is there, effort is there, but the effect is zero. Okay, and the effect you will be saying like work done will be zero. Force is not zero, work done there will become zero. Understood? If you're pushing the wall and the wall is not moving, so what you will say? That displacement is zero, that's why the work is zero. You will never say that the force is zero. Force will be there. Okay, so similarly, if I say the example where I want an example of the size, that a boy tries to change the size of an object, okay, he is able to do and he is not able to do. Okay, so if I take an example, so I will take an example of a small stick. Okay, a small stick. So you can change the size of it, you can change the shape of it. Okay, you can bend it, you can break it. Okay, anything you can do. Now instead of that, if I take a iron rod, okay, iron rod, understood, axle, okay, iron rod. So will you be able to do that? No, with your hand practically it is impossible. Okay, you will not be able to do that. Neither you will be able to change the shape, neither you will be able to change the size. So when you change the shape or the size of a small stick, okay, then you are applying a force. And even if for a rod case, you are not able to change the shape or size of the object, still you are applying a force. Still you are applying the force. Okay. So I guess this much you have understood. Okay. So that's why I have written that point line over there, which tries to change or changes the state. Okay. You may try to change, or you may not, you are trying, but you are not able to change. In both the cases, you will say that you are applying a force. Understood? Fine. Now we are going to the Newton's law. Okay. Force we have studied. We have studied about the force. Okay. Now we are going to study the Newton's law. Okay. So before I start on Newton's law, before I start this Newton's law, okay, I will illustrate 2-3 terms before that. Okay. I'll illustrate 2-3 terms before that. So one is one is inertia. Okay. One is inertia. One is inertia. Now, what is this inertia now? What is this inertia? Can anyone explain what is inertia? Can anyone explain me what is inertia? Can anyone tell me what is inertia? What is the meaning of inertia? When I say inertia of a body, okay, what do I mean with it? What do I mean with it? Yes. Tendency to remain unchanged, ability of an object to resist change in state. Good. Okay. So what is this inertia? Inertia is any resistance, or a body has a tendency to continue in its state. Okay. If a body is in rest, or if a body is in a straight line, okay, or if a body is moving in, okay, uniform motion. In all the cases, the body will try to remain in its own state. A body will try to remain in its own state, okay, until and unless any external force act on it. Until and unless any force acts on it. Okay, so that's inertia. That's inertia. Now within inertia, we have inertia of rest and we have inertia of motion. So inertia of rest means, suppose if a body is kept on a floor, okay, so that body, if is not acted upon any force, okay, so what will happen, that body will remain like that. The body will remain like that. It will not be moving. Okay, it will try to remain in that because it's having an inertia of rest. Similarly, if a body is moving with a uniform motion, okay, uniform motion means it is traveling equal distance in equal interval of time. So that means its velocity is same. Its velocity is same. It's not accelerating. Okay. So in that case also, the body will continue to move in the same speed, okay, or same velocity, until and unless any force is external force is applied. Okay. Now for a body moving, for a body which is moving, friction acts as an external agent. Friction will act as an external agent. Okay. So you don't have to consider the friction here, because with friction what will happen, there will be dissipation of energy, and so it will eventually stop. But what we have to see, that the body is, if it is moving, so it will continue to move unless and until any external force is applied. So friction becomes an external force to it. Okay. So what is inertia then? So inertia is the tendency of the body. Okay. It is actually the tendency of the body. I will say this is a tendency of the body. Tendency of body. Okay. To continue in its state of motion. Okay. It is a tendency of body to continue in a state of rest or motion. Uniform motion better, right? Okay, uniform motion. Now, apart from this, we have separate inertia for rest and we have separate inertia for motion, uniform motion. So for rest, it is called as inertia of rest. For the uniform motion, it is called as inertia of motion. Okay, so this is the inertia of rest. Okay, inertia of rest. Any example that you can give me for these two? Very famous example we quote. Okay, very famous example we study in the books. Okay, inertia of motion. Any example that you can give? Yes. Like a ball, if it is kept in the sliding floor, it will go by itself. Okay. Anything else? While putting brake, yes. Okay, while putting brake, you are trying to say that you will feel jerk. Okay. Dust in a carpet, very good. Dust in a carpet is a inertia of rest. Dust in a carpet is an example of inertia of rest. Okay. Suppose a car is moving. Okay. Just now, suppose there is a car or a train or any vehicle in which you are sitting. So suppose this is a car, okay, and you are sitting in this. You are sitting in this, okay, and this car is at rest now. This car is at rest now. So what will happen? Your body will also be in rest. Your body will also be in rest. Now suddenly this car accelerates and tries to move in this direction. Now your feet is in contact with the car. Okay, your feet is in contact with the car. So that feet, that portion, the lower body portion will be having a tendency of uniform inertia of rest. Okay, that lower portion of your body will have an inertia of motion because the car has now started to move. But the upper body which is not in contact with anything, so that is still having a tendency of rest. Still it is having a tendency of rest. So what will happen? What will happen? You will go backward side when the car starts, okay, from rest to motion. So you will fall backside. You will fall backside. Okay. So this is the example of inertia. Okay. So inertia of rest we have, inertia of motion we have. Okay. Now, one more important term is there, which is momentum. Okay. Okay. Now, suppose if I'm giving you an example over here, okay. Suppose you're going on a road, okay, and I give you two options. I am giving you two options. One option is that you are getting hit by a car, okay, and second, you are getting hit by a bicycle. Okay, I'm giving you two options, A and B. You are hit by car or you want to get hit by a bicycle. You have only two choices. Which option will you choose? B. Certainly B. Everybody will choose B. Why? Because with this, I can say the accident, okay, or the injuries that I'll have, okay, the accident or the injuries what I'll have will be minimum, okay, as compared with the car, Why? Because this car is imparting less energy on me, will impart less energy on me, whereas this bike will impart more energy on me. Correct? Yes or no? When you get hit by a car or when you get hit by a bicycle, so what happens? The energy is imparted to you. Okay. So when energy is imparted to you, what will happen? You will take that energy. Okay. Now, if you are able to absorb that energy, you will stand still. Okay. You will stand still. Understood? If you're not able to absorb that energy, what will happen? You will move. Okay. You may fall. Okay. So this is all about the momentum. Now, here what I wanted to explain you, that always try to link momentum. always try to link momentum as a total quantity of motion. Okay, total quantity of motion, total energy. Okay, though energy and momentum, these two are entirely different things. Okay, these two are entirely different things, but you can have a concept, you can have a relation, you can have a link between momentum and energy. Okay, so if a car is moving, and if I say that it is having a higher momentum, if a car is moving and if I say it is having a higher momentum, and the car B is moving and I'm saying it is having a less momentum. So what I can say that if I compare them, so the energy imparted if I get hit, the energy imparted if there is a collision, so the car which is having higher momentum is going to give more impact as compared to the car which is moving with the less momentum. So this is what the momentum is all about. Okay, this is what momentum is all about. Okay, so actually this momentum gives me total quantity of motion. Okay, total quantity of motion. So there is a mass of it, mass of the body, and there is a velocity of the body. So total quantity of motion in a body. Okay, m into v. So momentum is represented by p. Okay, momentum is represented by p. P is given as m into v. Okay, its SI unit, its unit will be what? Kg meter per second. Kg meter per second. Okay, now is it a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? Is it a scalar quantity or vector quantity? Tell me. Is it a scalar quantity or a vector quantity? It is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity. Good. It is a vector quantity. Okay, now I'm asking you one question. Okay, a very small question. Suppose this is a floor. Okay, and from this floor you throw a ball, okay, you throw a ball on this wall. This is a wall, and you throw a ball on this wall. You are throwing this ball with velocity v. You're throwing this ball with velocity v. This ball goes and hits this wall and returns back with velocity v. Okay, you're throwing a ball on a wall with v velocity, it comes back. Suppose if it comes back with velocity v only. Okay, what is change in momentum? What is change in momentum here? What is change in momentum here? Yes, what is change in momentum over here? Is it, I'm giving you options. A, 0, B, m into v, C, 2 mv, D, 3 mv. Which is the correct option? Yes, which is the correct option? Option A. Okay, one student has written 2 mv. Rajkumar. Sarika, option C. Okay, option C is correct answer. Option C is correct. Okay, so Sarika and Rajkumar. Okay, rest everybody has given A or A only. Okay, fine. Option C is correct. Option C is correct. Okay, now let's see how. Let us see how. Just now you told this momentum is a vector quantity. Just now you have told that this momentum is a vector quantity, correct? Now, if a momentum is a vector quantity, it will have direction. Will it have a direction or not? Yes, it will have a direction. It will have a direction. Now, if it is having the direction, okay. So if I take this direction as positive, okay, if I take, suppose this is XY axis, if I take this direction as positive, okay, if I take this direction as positive, so this direction should be taken as, negative. If I take positive x-axis as positive, okay, so the negative x-axis, any motion towards the negative x-axis must be taken as what? Negative, correct? Now, if you see the velocity with which you are throwing initially, if you see the velocity with which you are throwing initially, it is in this direction, okay? So this I'm taking as V. This I'm considering as V. This I'm considering as V, okay? Now, the one which is moving like this after hitting from the wall, after coming back, recoiling, okay, after recoiling, the velocity I have to assume as -v. I have to assume this velocity as -v because it is coming towards you in opposite direction. Initially, you had thrown this ball in this direction. Now the ball is traveling in this direction. And because velocity is a vector quantity, so both the values must not be written with the same sign because the direction is opposite. So I have to include minus sign in there. Okay. So one velocity becomes positive, one velocity becomes negative. One velocity becomes positive, one velocity becomes negative. Okay. Understood? Now, if I calculate the changes, so change is always calculated of final minus initial. So final is this and initial is this. So what I'll write, minus V minus of plus V. Okay. So now what you are getting, minus of 2V. So what is the difference? What is the change in momentum? It is minus 2V in this case. Okay. Suppose if I take this one as positive, suppose if I take this one as negative V and this one as positive V. So now what you will write, plus V minus of minus V. Still you will be writing final minus initial. Okay, still you will be writing P2 minus V1. Here also you will be writing P2 minus P1. Always the change is written final minus initial. Always the case is final minus initial. Now here what you are getting? Here you are getting 2V. Okay, 2mV. 2mV. Now the problem is not with one place you are getting plus sign, one way you are getting a minus sign. That's not a problem. I'm trying to explain you the value. Okay, it's a 2mV. It's not a 0. It's not mV. Okay, it's a 2mV. Okay, I hope you have understood this point. Okay, that vector, this momentum is a vector quantity. Okay, in that momentum, mass is a scalar quantity. We have to separate that. Then we are left with the term velocity, which is a vector quantity. That's a vector quantity. And so if it is moving in one direction, so that direction I have to assume as positive, and the opposite direction thing I have to assume as a negative. Okay. So when you throw a ball on a wall with V velocity and it comes back with the same velocity, the change in momentum is not 0. It's 2mV. It's a 2mV. Depends upon what direction you are choosing positive. Depends upon what direction you are choosing positive and negative. Okay. So that was all about the momentum. That was all about the momentum. Okay. Now we are going to start Newton's law. Now we are going to start Newton's law. Okay. Now we are going to start Newton's law. Okay. So Newton's law of motion. How many laws do we have? How many Newton's law do we have? How many laws do we have? 3. Okay. Fine. First one is what? What is the first law? Can anyone tell me? Newton's first law. Newton's first law. Let me give you a hint. It depends upon the inertia. It depends upon the inertia. Okay. It depends upon the inertia of the object. That's why I have explained you inertia. Okay. So what does this first law states that every object, okay, every object will continue in its state. Okay. every object will continue in its state. Okay, either it is in rest or either it is in motion. Okay, it will not be changing its state. It will not try to change its state on its own until and unless external force is applied on it. Until and unless any external force is applied on it. Okay, so both law of inertia as well as inertia of motion. Okay, inertia of rest or inertia of motion, both are applicable over here. Okay, so Newton's first law states that, okay, the Newton's first law states that every body, okay, every body, okay, every body is, every body will continue in its state. Okay, if it is in rest. Okay, so it will continue, it will continue to be in rest, to be in rest. Okay, or if it is in motion, uniform motion. Don't always write motion. Okay, you have to write uniform motion over here. Okay, motion can be like accelerated motion also. Okay, so you have to specify which motion. Uniform motion. Okay, so every body will continue in its state if it is in rest or if it is in uniform motion. Okay, so if it is in uniform motion, so it will continue to move with that, like that. Okay, it will continue to move in uniform motion. Okay, uniform motion until and unless, until and unless any external force, any external force, okay, any external force is applied on it. Is that clear to everyone? Is that clear to everyone? It it is same like inertia. Okay, it is same like inertia. So sometimes you also call it as inertia, law of inertia. Sometimes you also call it as a inertia law. Okay, law of inertia. Okay, Newton's law of inertia. Okay, so this is related with inertia only. So if you have understood the term inertia, if you have understood the term inertia, so I don't find any reason that you will not be able to understand this Newton's first law. Okay, so the first law states that every body will continue in its state if it is in rest, okay, or if it is in uniform motion, okay, until and unless an external force is applied on it. So if an external force is applied on it, or so what may happen is body in rest can start to move, a body in uniform motion can come to rest, a body in uniform motion which is moving, okay, you can change its direction, or if both the things can simultaneously happen. You can change the direction also, you can change the velocity also. Okay, so both the things can happen simultaneously. Okay, so if every body will continue in its state, if it is in rest, it will continue to be in rest, or if it is in uniform motion, it will continue to be in uniform motion. Okay, until and unless any external force is acted on it. Until and unless any external forces acted on it. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, now if anybody is having any problem with this first law, just let me know, otherwise I'll go on to the second law. Okay, where I have taken enough example in inertia, so you can relate with that. Okay, so I guess everything is clear, so I'm going on to the next law. Okay, which is What is the second law? Newton's second law. Okay. Newton's second law. Now, what is Newton's second law? Uh, every reaction has a equivalent opposite reaction. No. Rate of change of momentum. Okay. Somewhat it is correct. F is equals to ma. That's the final equation that you get, but it's not the second law. Okay. Force is equals to mass in mass times acceleration. No. F is equals to ma. F is equals to ma is wrong. Okay. It is a form of, it is a derived form. Okay. When you simplify the initial equation, so you'll get F is equals to ma. So, but you should not say that F is equals to ma is Newton's second law. That's a wrong statement. Okay. Rate of change of momentum. Very good. Very good. Rate of change of momentum. Okay. So what is Newton's second law? Newton's second law states that the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force acting on it. Okay. So let us first, I'm going to write and then I'll explain you. Okay. What is it? Okay. So rate of change of momentum. Rate of change of momentum so it is defined as, or it is stated as, rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied on it, to the force applied on it. Okay. Now, force is also a vector quantity, momentum is also a vector quantity. Okay. So the change in this force will be in the direction of change in momentum. Okay. The force will be in the direction of change in momentum. Okay. So that is the next point. Force will be in the direction of change in momentum. Understood? So let us see it mathematically. Okay. So what I can say now, that the force applied on the body F is directly proportional. Okay. It is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. So rate of change of momentum is, change in momentum is this, and the rate divided by delta T. So this is rate of change of momentum. So force is directly proportional to rate of change of momentum. If you remove this proportionality sign, so you would get one constant. Okay. And that constant value is 1. So we will not write that, and I'm directly writing this equation. Okay. So this is my equation number 1, suppose. Okay. Now what is P here? P is a change in momentum. P is a change in momentum. So how do you write change in momentum? You write change in momentum as m into, okay, or I'm writing it like this, P2 minus P1 by, okay, delta T I'm writing as T, okay. Now what is momentum? M2. So mv2 minus mv1 divided by T. Okay. From here what I can write, m I can take common. Okay. And then I can write it as v2 minus v1 by T. Now what is v2 minus v1 by T? What is v2 minus v1 by T now? Okay. So v2 minus v1 by T is acceleration, is nothing but acceleration. So this is the final equation 2. Okay. So you cannot say that the second law states that mass time m times the acceleration is second law. No, that's the final form, that's the extended form. Okay. The final equation that you get from that, this law. Okay. But what is law? Law states that rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the force applied. Okay, force applied on the body. Force applied on the body. Force applied on the body. Okay, better we state it like that. So I hope you have understood this. Yes, I hope you have understood this point. Okay. Now from here itself, we will define the units now. Here itself we define the units now. So F will be mass into acceleration. Okay, mass into acceleration. Now what is the unit of mass? What is the unit of mass? It's kilogram. What is the unit of acceleration? Meter per second square. So this is one of its unit. Now kilogram meter per second square is also called as Newton. It is also called as Newton. Okay, which is denoted by capital N, which is denoted by capital N, which is denoted by capital N. Okay, which is denoted by capital N. Okay, now if I want to look for its CGS system, if I want to look for its CGS system, so the CGS unit, okay, the CGS unit for this is, for kilogram we will write gram, for meter we will write centimeter, and for second we will write second only. Okay, for second only, for meter centimeter, and for kilogram we will write gram. And this quantity is called as dyne, D-Y-I-N-E, dyne. Is it okay? Now, if you want to convert from Newton to dyne or from dyne to Newton, so let us see this conversion also. So 1 Newton will be equal to 10 to the power 5 dyne. 1 Newton is equals to 10 to the power 5 dynes. Is it okay? Yes? Any doubt is there? Is there any doubt in this now? Yes? Is there a doubt in this now? Is there a doubt in this now? Okay. Dyne we write it like that only. Okay. Dyne we write it like that. D-Y-N-E only. Okay. There's no short form for that. There's no short form for that. Okay. You have to write it D-Y-N-E only. Okay. Now, the third law, Newton's third law. Newton's third law. Newton's third law of motion. So what is this now? Okay. So now this is every action. Okay. So someone had written for second law itself that every reaction has equivalent opposite reaction. No. For every action, okay, for action there has to be a reaction. Okay. So for action, so for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. For an action, there has to be an equal and opposite reaction. Okay. So for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. Equal and opposite reaction. Now, can you give me any example of this? Can you give me any example for this? Can anyone give me any example for this? Ball thrown on the wall. Ball thrown on a wall. Okay, very good. A ball which is thrown on a wall. Okay, so what happens? So ball coming to the wall is okay, but as soon as the ball hits the ground, as soon as the ball hits the ground, or as soon as the ball hits the wall, so what happens? This ball is applying a force on that wall. This ball is applying a force on that wall. So that is the action. That is the action. So ball hitting the ground, ball hitting the ground is what? Action. Now, Due to this, what happens? Due to this, what happens? The ball will bounce back. The ball bounces back. Okay. So when you hit the wall with ball, so what happens? The ball bounces back. So what was action here? Ball hitting the wall was the action here. What is reaction? What is reaction? Bouncing back of the ball is the reaction. Bouncing back is the reaction of the action. Okay. The another example that you people are writing in here is, okay, that is shooting of a gun. Shooting of a gun. Okay, correct. So when you fire, okay, when you fire from the gun, so what will happen? What will happen? That you will feel jerk in backward direction. You'll feel jerk on the backward direction. Okay. So what has happened over here? The ball does, this bullet is moving in a forward direction. The bullet is moving in a forward direction. And so you will have a jerk in the backward direction. Okay. So that's also action reaction. So the bullet moving with the thrust, the bullet moving with the thrust is what? Action. And you feeling the pressure or you feeling the force of the recoil of the gun is the reaction force. Is the reaction force. Okay. Hammer pushes a nail. Okay. So hammer pushing a nail means what? Hammer pushing a nail means what? So what happens over here? Let's suppose you are pushing the nail, or if you are applying force on that nail. Okay. So what happens? You apply a force on that nail. Correct. You apply a force on that nail. So that is action. That is the action. Now what is the reaction due to that? Now what is the reaction due to that? The hammer comes back in the same direction. Okay. The hammer comes back. So that's the reaction force. So that's the reaction force. So you can have so many examples over here. You can have so many examples over here. Okay. So I'll just write down few examples over here. Okay. And you will try to explain that. Okay. As a homework it is. As a homework it is. Okay. So this is as a homework now. Okay. I'm not giving you the example. Instead, this is a homework. Okay, this will, you consider it as a homework. So first thing is, okay, that how actually you are able to, okay, swim inside a river. Okay, how you are able to swim inside the river. Understood? How you are able to swim inside a water or a river. Okay, swimming. Okay, swimming in water. First. Second, horse able to push or able to pull, sorry, horse able to pull the cart. Horse able to pull the cart. Okay, horse able to pull the cart. Okay. Third, a person walking on a ground. Okay, so try to explain these things. Okay, try to explain these things, and in very brief, okay, try to answer this. Okay, fine. So we have understood all the three laws of the Newton. We have understood all the three laws of the Newton. Okay. And now if anybody is having any doubt, okay, you can ask me in, okay. If anybody is having any doubt, you can ask me. You can take the screenshots. You can take the screenshots if you want. Okay. You can take the screenshots. Momentum you did not understand. Okay. F is force in the second law, na? F is force in the second law. F is the force in the second law. If you need recordings, okay, it is available in Learnity. Okay, if you need recordings, it will be uploaded in the Learnity. Okay, so you can log in into Learnity and see that. Okay. I'm unable to upload. Okay. You watch this video again, Rajkumar. Okay, and still, if you are having any doubt, okay, next class I will address that. Okay, go and watch that video in Learnity. Okay, still, if you have doubt, in the next class I will address that. Okay. Any doubt? If you have, you can ask now. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay. And if anybody is not clear with the complete concept, like I can see few people asking for momentum, two people, and one person asking for second law. Okay. So do one thing, you just go on to the Learnity and just check the video again. Okay. Again, if you don't understand, I'm ready to take in the next class. Okay. Still, if you're not able to understand the momentum and this second law, okay, next class I'll be teaching you again. Okay, don't worry about that. But first, you watch the video on the Learnity again. Okay. Okay. So thank you.